What up, baby boys and girls? We are back at Punch Drunk Nerd. My name is Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez.
And Ed Bull, an adult.
And let me tell you, happy birthday, Miguel! That's right, it is Miguel's birthday. Actually, tomorrow it's your birthday, but then when the episode is released, your birthday will be yesterday. So we're a bit of in what do you call a time loop? Or how do they say it in Tenet? A time ripple? Anyone?
We're in a pincer movement.
Thank you.
To my birthday.
Yes, dude. I didn't know you were going to be the one who said it, but you did say it. Yeah. Hell yeah. Welcome to Punch Drunk Nerd. We talk about nerd shit every single week. We're your friends. We're your pals. We're your bambinos. And we're here. We're your friends. And this week we're going to do a Nolan ranking. And then before all that, we have some news. We're going to do our usual covering of the summer box office numbers. We, of course, have a wager in between us, trying to guess who predicted the summer box office. Who did we get the ranking right? I don't know. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the VFX artists potentially unionizing. And it's going to be one hell of a show. And Miguel, again, happy birthday. Listen, I know you're going to the movies, right? You're going to go to the movies tomorrow?
Yeah, I might. I haven't actually booked a ticket yet, but I might.
Because you texted us and you were like, which movie should I watch? And I'm curious as to know which one you may or may not see.
I don't know. I kind of want to go see that A24 movie because everyone's talking about it. It's already got a sequel greenlit and everything. So I'm like, okay, like, ooh, spooky dooky.
Did that strike you as a movie that needed a sequel, Luis?
Funny enough, I passed out before I could see the ending, so I don't know if it needs a sequel or not. But you know what? Could I see it happening? Yes, I could. I could see just it maybe being picked up and somebody else getting talked to. So that's exciting, Miguel. Please, I'm gonna try to catch it as well. Maybe we can have a little chit chat about it next week. It's a good movie. Okay, let's listen. I want to get back into the the summer box office numbers, because we have a wager. Miguel, you were not doing so well, but this week, man, oh man, some of your number one picks actually made it to number one. But I'm not going to spoil it for you. Ed, give me the update. Who's winning? Who's losing? What's going on here?
Well, I'll tell you who's winning, Luis, and that is Barbie. Barbie is taking the world by storm. It's crossed over $1 billion this week. Domestically, it currently sits at $468 million.
Oh my God.
And then right behind, in second place, nearly like 100 million behind now, is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Damn.
Yeah. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy, holding strong at 358. The Little Mermaid right after that, and our other sweetheart, Oppenheimer, is climbing its way up the ladder at 233 now, and I think that's crossed like 500 million worldwide. So that's a good one. Right after that, it drops down to 170 with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and the little guy that could, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's slowly but surely kind of making its way up there. I think it might just end behind Indiana Jones. Who would have thunk? Elemental at number 9, Fast X at number 10, The Flash at number 11.
I don't understand how The Flash is a number 11 when you had a movie like Aquaman, which was made hundreds of millions of dollars. I feel like those two movies are equal. Like, I don't see the difference. Like, in fact, I think Aquaman's worse than The Flash.
Oof.
Oh, I'm saying it right here, right now.
Talk.
Well, I guess people like Jason Momoa, right?
I guess if you want, it's like he's a badass. I want to see a badass on the movie screen. So
right, and Ezra Miller is just like, oh, that guy.
You're right. That's true. I guess fuck Michael Keaton, huh? But Ed, what about the fan favorite Sound of Freedom? Isn't that in the top 10?
I'm not familiar with the title. It's not on any of our lists. So that must have slipped under my radar. But as you were saying, Luis, after The Flash, we got Insidious 5 at number 12. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem came in at number 13 with $46 million.
Nice.
And then Asteroid City sitting comfortably in last place at $27 million.
Ninja Turtles. Do you think it's going to creep up a little bit higher to pass up?
Yeah, I think it's going to pass The Flash for sure. It might get like a steady climb like Elemental did.
Yeah,
like this,
that's true.
This might just be like the last good kids movie for the remainder of the summer.
What a disappointment!
If you think about it, Elemental made 30 million its opening weekend, and it ended up making more than Fast X, The Flash, and Insidious. So,
dang,
I'll
tell you what, I'm a little disappointed at Mission Impossible.
Well, it
came in a little too close to Barbenheimer. It exploded in its wave. It just couldn't. It couldn't keep up. The
big movie of August if they had just pulled it out.
Yeah, it was bad timing on their part. If there was like a early July movie, like you said, later August movie, just to give a little bit of space for that kind of.
It's doing okay overseas. Like it's gonna make money. And they're talking about having like another IMAX re-release later after Oppenheimer has finished its run. They want to make that money back.
And Oppenheimer's booming. Like I remember when we first started doing when they came in, they're booming. When we first started talking about Oppenheimer, it wasn't even breaking the top 10, and now it's slowly settling back in because people are going in for those IMAX screenings, and I think it's just been backed up as far as people wanting to see IMAX because there's so few IMAX theaters, especially the real IMAX theaters, that people are willing to wait to see it or maybe even see it again. And it's just kind of creeping up. But man, if it's one thing I've learned is that the meme and internet culture will always dominate and win the box office. I'm talking about the Minions, Gentle Minions. I'm talking about Megan, that dancing, horror movie that did really well, and then Barbenheimer. So it's just like new lesson learned. My mistake was I thought I was going to ride the waves of Top Gun. Fucking failed.
That didn't happen.
That didn't happen at all. What a sad and depressing thought, that was. And then Miguel, Barbie is number one. Look at that.
Yeah.
Huge points for that, Miguel. Huge points. Of course, we won't tally the numbers until Labor Day, which is, let me look at my calendar.
Like a few weeks away.
So by September, in our September 8th episode, we will announce a winner, and Miguel potentially will tell us what we need to watch. He'll say, hey, y'all need to watch this. That's part of the wager.
See. No, I believe that. I was telling Ed a second ago, anytime I'm in a competition like this and it looks like, all of a sudden Miguel's doing hot. Right at the tail end, some fucking thing happens and I lose miserably. So
you're doing
I'm gonna keep my level head.
Sound of Freedom's gonna come in and just take number one. That's what's gonna happen.
Jim Caviezel's back, baby.
On the third day, he rose again, motherfucker.
Damn, no, it got me fucked up. I was on Reddit the other day, and they were talking about how some guy was like, man, you know what? I just rewatched The Count of Monte Cristo, and it's got to be like one of my favorite movies of all time. And I was like, I love that movie. And then I was like, oh, Jim Caviezel. Okay. Damn. Just didn't go the way I thought.
And what's not going the way they thought were the studios. There's a lot of strikes happening right now. Writers are on strike, actors are on strike, and we've always talked about the VFX artists. They're not unionized, so they're just kind of getting screwed all over the place, being asked to make revisions in the last second, staying 18 hours a day for 3 or 4, 5 months out at a time. I mean, they're not having a good time at all. But recently, the VFX artists are voting to unionize. You might have heard this news. But just to give it more clarification, it isn't all VFX artists. It's VFX artists on set. So the people who are there to make sure, okay, you're shooting this correctly, kind of getting guidance on what will work for VFX. It's a small group. I think it's like under 100 that have worked with Marvel, and they are going to vote to try to unionize. And even if they do that, it's going to be a long and arduous process, but definitely something that should be happening. It seems like a very unprecedented time where we as a people are saying like, fuck you to kind of the rich, because all the studios are like, well, we can't afford movies. And then everyone else is like, yeah, we can't afford life. You know what I mean? People are in debt. People aren't paid well. VFX aren't. And so it's kind of crazy and awesome to see everyone standing up and saying, hey, we deserve these things. Even another union, IATSE, they're the stagecraft people. Grips, painters, carpenters, their contract goes up next year. So, if things get gnarly and if they, the AMPTP, that's all the big studios, if they don't want to negotiate, then maybe next year they go on strike. And then just basically the business is like shut down and saying, hey, we need a livable wage. We can't be treated like trash. AI can't take over. You need to negotiate a little bit. So I thought that was big news. I wanted to share it. I know we haven't talked about news in a while, but this is a huge step. And I'm hoping that, other VFX artists will start unionizing and make these big changes. And I don't know. Thoughts, guys? I feel like I'm going to step down off my soapbox.
I'm just I'm pretty anti-unions. So.
All right, everybody. That was Punch Drunk Nerd. Make sure to check us out next week.
No, fuck yeah. I mean, get what you're owed, Yeah. And if you need better conditions and you got to stand up for them, get out there and get them.
Yes.
I support you.
I feel like the VFX artists were kind of who we were getting rumblings from earlier on. Like back in, way back from last year is when we started hearing about like the Marvel VFX and stuff like that, and how they're not being compensated for their time and the amount of time that they're putting into each movie or show that they're churning out.
Yeah.
On a moment's notice too. Yeah. So
you guys all heard of the Life of Pi stuff, right? What happened with Life of Pi VFX artists?
No. The Ang Lee movie?
That movie from forever ago?
Yeah. So days or a week before they went to the Oscars to win for best, VFX. Yeah. They went out of business, basically. They no longer exist. And that movie basically bankrupted them because everyone is trying to create like low bid and fight each other to have, something affordable. There's no union. So they can't really even say this is the minimum wage. Everyone's kind of lowering the bids. They kept making changes and they basically went bankrupt. And as they were kind of receiving the award and talking about the difficult time they had, they were played out by Jaws music. So they were like, it's a real difficult time and don. Like it was just a really bad look. You can look it up on YouTube. So obviously this has been going on for a long time. So we will wait and see what happens. With
2012,
the movies.
That was like 11 years ago.
Was it 2012? Is that when Life?
I'm pretty sure that's when Life of Pi came out because Ang Lee won Best Director for that movie.
Yeah.
Hang on, Ed. You weren't Googling that just now? You just said the words 2012.
If I'm remembering correctly, yeah.
You look like you were like, in 2012 is when that movie came out.
Maybe my computer could not handle that,
but your brain computer.
My brain computer. My brain calculator.
I'd like to take a second from this podcast to take a pause and just say this episode of Punch Drunk Nerd is brought to you by Punch Drunk Nerd. Please support Ed, who is all of his computers is failing. It's breaking down. He's gone through 3 computers.
Jesus.
He's on an iPhone 6. Please help this child. He needs a little bit of help. Any bit helps. Again, go to our Patreon, donate. Right, Miguel?
Hell yeah. Patreon.com/@punchdrunknerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to keep hearing my voice, then
while we have you here, on the subject of your phone, Ed, and I'm not trying to make you kill yourself, but why do you still have this phone? And are you planning on getting a new one?
Good question, Miguel. Thank you for asking it. As it happens, I am at my wit's end with my phone.
Nice.
Last week, I was having like several meltdowns in my head, trying to free up. I had to like delete like a couple of thousand emails, a couple of 100 photos, videos, etc. Just to make storage.
You had to delete emails to get storage? Like, I don't even ever think about that. I feel like that is the tiniest amount of storage possible.
Well, I was just
emails.
going with what I could delete easily. And then I realized things like my Apple podcast were downloading some automatically. I'm just like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Ed.
Yes.
I'm curious.
Wait. Yes, Miguel.
Thank you. I'm thinking about getting a new phone because mine's a little older. We were having the conversation the other day on the phone about our battery healths and how, Luis, if you could believe it. Luis, what's your battery health, by the way, on your phone?
It's fantastic. Yeah.
No, give me the exact number in a second. Look it up and get me that, okay?
Luis, I wasn't asking
Not
how
like-
good
not
you are
like-
in bed. Like we were
Yeah.
just
Sorry,
asking.
I'm sorry. You're talking about like just the
Battery
percentage
health,
right now.
not like your battery charge. I'm talking about like your overall battery health.
Oh, it holds a charge pretty much all day. I don't know.
Maybe
but no.
there's an actual fucking number on your phone. Just go to your settings
percentage.
and look at Okay,
I actually didn't know that. What are you talking about? There's an option
look,
to
scroll down from the top, and where the search menu comes up,
yeah.
Something you
search
didn't know.
battery health. Click that setting,
Battery
and then
health.
there's a-
Whoa. Okay.
battery health and charging, and what's your maximum capacity right now?
96%.
96%, baby. That's what I'm trying to find out. Okay, that's
Yeah,
a great
okay,
number.
okay.
Mine is 79%. Okay, I have an iPhone 11 and it's a refurbished one because I broke my first one. So my maximum capacity is 79%, and it's giving me a message that's like, "Hey, you need to get a new phone because your battery's fucked up."
Oh wow.
And then Ed was telling me, "What's your battery health, Ed?" His iPhone 6s battery health. Mine's 79.
Luis, take a guess.
12.
You
Yeah,
bitch.
fuck you, Ed.
70%.
Honestly, I'm surprised you even have that as a feature on your phone. I figured it wouldn't be able to upgrade anymore.
Hilarious.
So Ed, all this to say is I've been thinking about getting a new phone, but I want to wait for this iPhone 15 at least because they're about to change the charger to USB-C.
Great.
Yeah, my boy Luis knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, are you interested in getting like when the new iPhone 15 comes out, which is going to be blow your tits off, I'm sure.
He just starts it.
Or would you rather get like an iPhone 14 at a discount? Keeping in mind that the iPhone 14 is going to be the Lightning charger, which is a charger you probably already have, or you're gonna have to get the USB-C one that probably comes with the iPhone 15. I hope, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happened to the iPhone 8? Is that still going?
No.
Is that where your mind is at right now, Ed? You were
Just
like,
like,
well, I was thinking about going to, like,
Don't you want to take beautiful
I'll get
pictures
a-
of your family?
I'll get
Get
like
the
you're
iPhone.
not buying like a used car. You know what I mean? Like you're getting like a phone.
but like what my mindset has been is just like get the next like skip a generation and grab the next one. You know what I mean?
Ed, what is something that you use all the time and carry with you all the time?
Ed, you know what? You like taking
Top
pictures of your
5
phone.
things.
This is
My
I'm giving
dick.
you.
God damn it.
Why do we even have you on this thing?
You're supposed to be the classy one.
Because of my Johnson.
Because of your heritage. Ed, you take so many photos. You take great
So
photos.
many, I had to delete some. Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine you get the newest phone with some of the best cameras on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, if I were going from iPhone 14 to an iPhone 15, it's like not really except for the charger. It's not really worth the jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Ed, iPhone 6s all the way to the brand new iPhone 15 Pro. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. I'm really just fucking you around. I'll probably.
Can I ask you a
get
question, Ed?
newer
If we
one.
put a poll on Instagram, okay, on all of our socials, will you buy the phone that people tell you to buy?
Oof.
Within
long
reason.
as
Within
the-
reason.
Within reason.
Okay.
Moderation. Yeah.
Ed, they don't the newest iPhone, the oldest iPhone you could get, I think, is the iPhone 12.
Okay.
Which is
That's a good number.
okay,
I
that's
like
not
that
bad.
number.
That's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad.
You could
How
get the
many-
SE, but we're not going to get the SE for you. That's
Don't get
not
the SE,
no.
please, baby. Don't
What
get
does
the
that SC mean?
It's just bad. Ed, did you actually delete photos, or did you like save them to the cloud and then offload them off your phone?
So I don't know. I don't know.
Did
I
you just
deleted
erase memories
deleted.
forever?
But
Lily from ages 2 to 4 are gone.
Yeah, gone. 5 and up only. No, it's just
What
like
the latest?
I mean, if you go through your pictures at any given time, you'll find like a bunch of, you'll have like 10 different versions of the same picture because you're trying to just
Right.
like, so deleting shit like that or screenshots and shit like that and, just clearing out the clutter. And there was a lot of clutter.
I'd
So,
pay someone to clean my clutter. It's like, can you please just
at
get
this
rid of all
point,
these
though,
screenshots?
I don't
Yeah.
want people going through this phone. No, sir. No, sir.
Right, Johnson and all.
We've talked about emails before. I had a kind of a realization recently. Whenever I like to just clear my email notification. So all I do is I mark all and I mark as read.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And it dawned on me the other day, like, man, I'm not actually solving the problem of the emails. You know, they're still there.
That's still there.
And I have it in my head like, well, I could just search for whatever email if I'm really looking for something.
I did
but now,
unsubscribe from a lot of like bullshit emails. You know what I mean?
whenever time I unsubscribe from emails all the time, I get them hosed right back. I think that's a bullshit button. Every time I hit unsubscribe, they come right back. They're like, we'll unsubscribe for today.
Hey, we haven't heard from you. We didn't send you 10 messages yesterday, but here you go.
I've been wearing glasses for like 3 years. Basically, ever since COVID, I've been wearing glasses. I got an email from 1-800-CONTACTS the other day that was like, hey, I think your prescription's expired. And I was like, baby, that was so long ago. Why are you emailing me right now? They were like, we think your 2-month pack of contacts is probably like done by now. Anyway, thank you for joining me my TED Talk.
Talking of done by now, let's finish that conversation and move on to our ranking.
Thank you.
Yes, we've been waiting to do this Nolan ranking for some time now, and here it is. What a perfect time to do it on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review. So we're going to do our Nolan ranking. I was thinking, would it be fun?
Yeah, if we took our clothes off after each movie.
Yes, each one. There's only 12. I wanted to see, can we try to guess who we think everybody's number one's going to be, and then just do the ranking?
Okay.
I'm going to guess.
Just speed it up.
Well, no, we'll do the list, but this is just like a fun little side game. Do you know what I mean?
So you're going to tell us who you think my number one is and Ed's number one?
Yes, and then you'll do the same, and then we'll see whoever's right is right, and then we'll do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn around actually when you say mine because I have a terrible poker face.
Okay.
All right, okay. Miguel, this is what I'm gonna do. Ready? Miguel, number one, Dark Knight. Ed, Prestige. Your turn. Do me. Go for it.
Okay, Luis. Inception. Ed, Dunkirk. Ed?
Are you just trolling me? Like,
Ed, just do the thing.
Yeah, hang on. I'm writing this down so we can reflect on this later. Who did you say for Luis?
Inception.
Okay. All right. Miguel. Interstellar. Luis. I'm gonna say
Insomnia.
Inception.
What?
Wait,
you just changed your mid word. You changed your answer.
Yeah. Because
what's your answer?
Inception. I'll go Inception.
Okay.
For
Luis, we're done.
All right, let's begin with our ranking. We're going to start with Ed, Miguel, then me, BB. Actually, how many does he have?
12.
12. Just like the iPhone 12.
We could just shoot right through 12 through 10.
All right, we can do that. You want to do that? We can speed it up. Okay, we'll go through.
Yeah. I understand what he's saying now. I thought he was like, there's like 3 movies you can just cut off this list. And I was like, no, I need to know what those 3 movies are.
Well, okay, yeah. So number 12 for me is Following, which I did make. I got around to watching right before Oppenheimer came out. So
I have Following as number 12 as well.
Okay, so my number 12 then? Just spit it?
Let's just do it.
Actually, I'm not going to just spit it because this is the one movie that I didn't rewatch. I watched a lot of Nolan movies, and this is the one I didn't rewatch because it is. I want to erase it from my memory. It's The Dark Knight Rises. I'm never going to see that movie ever again. Not a big fan, and it upsets me as a Batman lover. So it's gonna. Yep, it's gonna be my number 12.
Right.
I want to say this just real quick. My 12 and 11 I have not seen. Okay, I didn't watch all the Nolan movies, but I would have probably put these lower on the list, and maybe future Miguel will feel otherwise. Okay, but Following is number 12, and I'll get to my next one in a second. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay, my number 11 and my number 10 are basically interchangeable. There are things that really piss me off about these movies, and there may be like one shred of saving grace in there, but overall they're just both disappointing. So I'll just go ahead and say 11, The Dark Knight Rises, and 10 is Tenet. Yeah, Tenet.
Tenet, I get it. I get it. It's
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
You get
It's
a
10
raise.
backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you as a tie, Tenet and The Dark Knight Rises, really?
I do not get along with Tenet. I think it's overindulgent.
It disagrees with you.
It highlights all the problems with Christopher Nolan's filmmaking.
Man,
as
I love
does
this
The Dark
ranking.
Knight
It makes me question all my picks again. But let's go. Okay, at Miguel.
You both have it written
Okay.
down, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Wait,
so you can send it to me after, so I can make
Yes.
notes.
So again, 12 for me, Following, 11 for me, Insomnia, because I haven't seen both of these movies. And if we're going to talk 10, I'll go ahead and just say it. My number 10 movie is for sure The Dark Knight Rises. 10 through 1, I've seen all of these movies, and that is my least favorite movie.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Officially.
We're all right. Here we go. We're going to fight.
What's your 10?
Okay, my number 10 and 11. So as I've done this podcast, I've learned that I guess I don't like much of this genre as much.
What's your genre?
I
Say
feel
Dunkirk.
I feel like a bad person, but it's gonna be Dunkirk. As my
yeah.
number 11. I wasn't. I mean, it's a beautiful movie. I will say that. You know what I'm saying? But I just didn't care. And then Following would be my number 10.
All
Okay.
right. There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys let me know if I should see Insomnia. Okay, hit me up at Punch Drunk Nerd.
Miguel, I think it would be the easiest watch for you.
It would be.
I'll
yeah.
tell you this. It is one that I could easily see myself watching. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be fair to the other movies, I bumped it lower, but I think I maybe will revisit this in the future. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was when I finally got around to watching it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Got Christopher Nolan.
I think Robin Williams. I mean, that's crazy. Al Pacino. That's insane.
Yeah.
So I do
Hilary
want to see the
Swank.
movie, and it's Hillary.
Swank?
Swank.
Swank.
So this is not Insomnia slander, okay? All right. In fact, I'm up most nights, okay? So I totally would see this movie.
All right.
10,
yeah,
The Dark
yeah.
Knight Rises. Okay. All right. So we're into nines now.
Yeah.
Nice.
My number 9, we were just talking about it, Insomnia. This was like, again, one of the more recent Nolans that I caught up on. And yeah, like I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought it was like Christopher Nolan working he's still like coming into Hollywood kind of thing. But he definitely has those Nolan flourishes.
Yeah.
You see them at work. And
that fog scene or like that
fog
beginning,
scene
you know,
with the blood. Yeah,
the blood, yeah.
On
The
the
beginning
shirt.
when it's just like when you see the plane flying over and you have those like ice mountains and it's just
Yeah.
like he does really
you
good
were
with
just
those
like-
wides.
Yeah, you think he was just really kind of going location.
Yeah, he's good at location scouting.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
Batman.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because
All right.
that's what followed up after Insomnia. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly.
My number 9, and again, it's because I've only seen it once and it was quite a long time ago. I would like to revisit it, so please don't hate me. Number 9, Memento. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's my answer. Moving on.
my-
8 through 1. Be ready.
All right. My number 9 is also going to be a movie we've already said, and it's Tenet. Number 9. Cool.
Nice.
Like there's some cool visuals that happen, but again, apart from that, I'm okay to not see it, except
That's
for
a
those
failure.
visuals. It's like a YouTube thing. Like I can like go on YouTube and see that cool scene. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But then,
absolutely.
like, it's a cool concept. But
What's
then
the
it
cool
just doesn't-
scene, by the way? What's the cool scene?
Oh, you got a lot of cool scenes. You know, you got the car scene. You got
but
the
the
breaking
cool
into that. We got the airplane.
No, I was curious
scene.
about like what
Both.
the cool scene.
There's the 2 airplane scenes. There's the car scene. There's the what else do we got? Maybe the ending.
There's like one scene that stands out to me in that movie, and it's right at the beginning when John David Washington beats the shit out of those guys with a cheese grater.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
too.
the only
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
where I think, like, yeah, that was cool. Everything else was just fucking nah.
It's a pretty crazy concept, but
It was
it's all it
definitely
is.
one of those. I think a lot of Christopher Nolan movies. There was like an era for Nolan where everyone was walking out of his movies going, "I didn't get it. I didn't understand." And I always thought that was kind of a bullshit complaint. Like I think most of his movies especially upon rewatch.
It just felt like it was a little boring. It was just a little
Tenet,
boring.
dude, man, I walked out of Tenet going, I truly do not understand what I was supposed to get from that.
Right.
There was just not enough heart.
Not fulfilling enough. No.
It's a lot higher on my list, though, so let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
All right. Number 8.
8.
So Miguel, likewise, it's been a minute. I think I've only actually seen this movie once all the way through, and it has to have been at least 10 years ago now. And it left Max before I got a chance to rewatch it, but it was Memento.
Okay.
So honestly, I can't remember a whole lot about this movie. I remember liking it. I like Guy Pearce. Good, nice. All right. Well, with that, I'm just gonna leave that there. So number 8, Memento.
For me, number 8, a little higher. Dunkirk. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's definitely a movie that I didn't like. In fact, I remember going back in my brain, I'm thinking, I didn't love that movie. But there were definitely other movies that I was like The Dark Knight Rises. I hate that movie.
I hate that movie.
So, and the other 3, it's like, okay, I didn't really see them very much, so I just kind of placed them. But Dunkirk, yeah, is kind of low on my top 10.
All right, my whatever number this is
8. 8.
Is a movie that I think I have to give another chance. But as of right now, this is where it lives. Yes, Oppenheimer. Yeah,
I love talking to you guys. I'm never sad.
Not mad at all.
I love rankings.
Sarah was like, "You're wrong about that." I'm like, I know, but you know what?
Yo, shout out Sarah.
I just didn't feel it.
I'm eager for you to give it another watch. As long as you're willing to give it another chance, I think
I will give it another chance. I can't wait for it to come out on VOD.
When we were talking about it the other day, I texted Kristen in the middle of us talking, and I was like, "Luis hated Oppenheimer," and I was like heartbroken. We talked about it the next morning. I was forlorn.
Yeah.
I saw it that next night when we talked about it in the IMAX.
You fell in love with it more.
I'd gladly go see that movie. Not if you say it like
that. No, I just it solidified my initial thoughts about it, and I got to. No, I won't say it.
Let's hear more. Let's hear more later.
We'll hear more.
Ed, number 7.
Number 7. It's the one that everybody was calling a masterpiece at the time, but I can never really click with. Dunkirk. It has moments in it, but I think it just, again, it was unnecessarily complicated. Visually, very good. Technically sound. It has fucking Harry Styles in it. And that's all you need to say about that.
I looked up why he cast Harry Styles. He's like, yeah, he just looked like he was from that era.
No, he's full of shit.
That's what he said. The studio
was just like, hey, go ahead and cast. No, because that role could have been played by anybody. Fuck off. That is such a bullshit lie.
This, Louise?
I didn't know this was a hot topic. Honestly, I forgot he was in the movie.
I think that's absolute bullshit.
And that came out of you like a monster.
Like a child being born.
I think that was the most anti-Nolan casting ever. I think that was purely a studio push, and yeah, we got what we paid for.
Nice.
And if I put you in a room with Harry Styles, like if you were in the room and then Harry Styles walked into the room, let me see your face. He opens the door. Hello. There it is. Motherfucker.
Let me suck your dick, Harry. Is that what you want?
He'd let you.
He probably would. Yeah. And then he'd be like
youtube.com/@punchdrunknerd.
Yeah, Harry Styles, if you're watching, and we know you are.
Yeah.
Harry,
7, right? If you're offended by any of that, buy me a laptop.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
he'll just come into your room and spit on you like he did Chris Pine. Okay, my number 7, a little higher than I expected, but Tenet. Okay, and this is my last Nolan movie. The rest of these I love.
Interesting. I love that you say that because Oppenheimer was my last one for that, but now we're entering into.
These are the ones that I like. I can watch all the time.
These are the ones I can.
I put them in order, but really, if any of these movies are on, I will watch. I will sit down and watch.
Yeah, What do they call him? A remote dropper? Or what was that term?
Oh, what did he say that Christopher Nolan? He was like, "Oh, I've never heard that before."
Yeah.
I actually love the marketing for Oppenheimer. It's been so fun to see this cast together.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like Christopher Nolan's being like, all of a sudden, he's on YouTube a lot more.
I know.
He's having to pull the slack because all the actors are,
well, I think some of this was filmed before the strike.
But I think the following interviews, he would never have done as many as he has done.
I think the meme or whatever that, he's going to be on Hot Ones. I think they should have done that. I think that would have been their Barbie. Like if Christopher Nolan,
the first one.
First off, you don't even know his sensibilities or taste. Okay, like you were not friends with Christopher Nolan.
He likes Talladega Nights.
He may exactly, Luis, exactly. He may be like a sauce head. Like he'd be like, yeah, I poured on the tip of my dick. All right, let him be on Hot Ones. I want to see that content. Okay, cut that.
Deep cut. No, we're keeping that.
Dude,
at Emma Thomas.
That felt weird. I didn't like that.
Hey, you're talking about putting sauce on his dick.
Yeah, but that could be like personal preference. You know what I mean? Didn't have to be a sexual thing. Luis, number 7.
All right, number 7. Here we go. Now, the way that I'm this is tough. We're going into tough territory now. I guess they go from 7 to 1. If you had to outrank, never mind. Number 7 is Insomnia. I think
that's not bad.
No, I'm proud of it. I'm surprised that man was very sleepy at the very beginning. I was like, he's not sleepy enough. By the end, I'm like, dear God, put this man to sleep. I have never seen someone so exhausted out of their goddamn mind. He plays it so well. And
when Al Pacino is not screaming at the top of his voice, you know he's tired.
He looks just like so drunk of exhaustion. It's incredible how and it really adds to the movie a little bit. And there was a moment, I heard a story where like Christopher Nolan tried to direct Al Pacino. I was like, can you do this? And he's like, no, I did it. Just look at the dailies. Like, he just like backed, whatever to Christopher Nolan. So yeah, Insomnia, my number 7.
Well, because at that time also like Christopher Nolan was not the name that he is now. And Al Pacino was Al Pacino. He's like, listen, little Chris, I'm on your movie. Be happy.
I'm so tired.
I'm tired of that Robin Williams.
The funny thing about that movie is you watch like halfway through and you're like, when is goddamn Robin Williams supposed to pop up? And they're like, I wonder who the murderer could be. It's like, well, clearly it's the one person
Robin
we haven't talked to yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed. Number 6.
Top 6. All right. It's the one that started it all. It's Batman Begins.
Nice.
Yeah, my number 6. I've rewatched it recently. It never fails to just be just a solid, like, origin story for a superhero. Like, I know it's an overplayed trope, but like, especially within the Batman universe. But Christopher Nolan did it in such a unique way. And getting to know Bruce Wayne more instead of just like meeting Batman and then having flashbacks the whole time. Like it was, and like everything is entertaining. Like it's not like when he's going to train with the League of Shadows. It's not boring. It's cool to see them set up these all of these elements to what we know as Batman later on. So, and then, like, Christian Bale, like, fluffy Christian Bale, however you want to call him, when he was bigger,
Right.
But, like, it was like a movie. I just remember when it came out, or leading up to it coming out, I was like, I don't know how I feel about a new Batman movie. It's been a while. It's, it's a new director I've never heard of. It definitely looks like a darker tone. Considering the very last one was Batman and Robin, maybe 8 years prior. So it was a pleasant surprise, I think, for everybody at the time, and it holds up.
Batman Begins is probably my favorite Batman moments of all time. I love the silhouette. I love how it looks. I love the cowl. I love just the imposing figure he has on things. I just love the whole look of it. Fits exactly how I imagined Batman to be, and it is unfortunate that he can't move his neck as easily. And I think he nails the voice here. I think his Batman voice is perfect at this point.
Absolutely. That was the best one. And I feel like at first, as the knee-jerk reaction, it was like, why is he talking like that? But almost immediately in the second and third movie, it becomes way overdone.
Yeah.
And it was just the most natural it was ever going to sound was in that first movie. And I agree, Luis. I think for the longest time, I would have told you, even after all three movies are out, I would have said Batman Begins was my favorite of the three.
Yeah.
Just because it's the most unique of all three of them. It's where I have it on my ranking is lower though, you know what I mean, than the number one Batman spot though. Because I just recently rewatched The Dark Knight for the first time in like a good handful of years. It's been so long because I had it in my head like I've seen it a million times.
Absolutely.
I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
But then you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, there's a reason why this one's really good.
Yeah.
it
But
also. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It also, like, I know, when people reflect on this franchise, like, Heath Ledger kind of stole the crown as the villain, but, like, it has a great supporting cast with Tom Wilkinson as Carmine Falcone, introducing Michael Caine as Alfred, Cillian Murphy, obviously, as the Scarecrow, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. I never understood, really, why people didn't got so pissy about what's her name, Katie Holmes.
Oh yeah, she wasn't as bad.
It didn't bother me.
No,
I don't know if it was like people just kind of hated the person more than the character or whatever. But anyway, it's like a solid cast, and it's always a joy to watch Tom Wilkinson doing his gangster voice, man.
Beg. Like a dog.
Yeah, that's good.
I fucking loved that movie, dude.
Yeah.
And all that to say, Ed, you were talking about the origin story of it all, but it's like that was them bringing Batman back after this, and I think maybe you were kind of saying this, but like after this like long hiatus, you know what I mean? And where the last one was kind of like not well received. And are they really gonna do another that's what I remember thinking at the time. Are they really gonna do another Batman? And it ended up being it kind of set the bar for what Batman movies are now. You know? Or at least that trilogy did. And I love Batman Begins. I think it is absolutely a close second of the trilogy for me. Dark Knight Rises can suck my dick. And I did want to say, listen, to put a button on this, that is also my number 6, Ed. I agree with you. Batman Begins, high 6. It is my, 6th spot. And like I said, the next 6 movies I'll watch anytime. Luis, what's your number 6?
All right, my number 6. Now, the way that this list works for me is like, okay, Insomnia is great, but what about this movie? Which movie would you rather watch, Insomnia or this movie? I would say this movie, and that movie is Memento. I rewatched it again, and I don't know. I think it's a fun, cool time. I dig it, and it does feel like a college student who made a movie. But I really like what he's doing with it. I don't know, man. This is like Christopher Nolan shooting for the fences. That's not how the phrase goes, right? Shooting for the fences.
I think
hitting for is it really hitting for the fences?
No, shooting wouldn't be right.
No, I wouldn't take a gun and shoot
the fences.
Yeah.
Aiming for the fences. Aiming for the fences, right? Because you're like, I'm gonna hit my ball that way.
We're a movie podcast, you guys.
Absolutely. No, I just think it's a cool concept. I like how it's done. Guy Pearce does a great job. I dig it. It's one of his earlier films.
Nolan movie. You know what I mean?
No, that's the next conversation I want to have. Is who are the cast members we haven't seen in a bit?
He's one of them I want to see again.
Absolutely. And honestly, like Loki, where's Christian Bale? Like put Christian Bale back in a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
That's not Batman. Let him play a character that's not the lead. You know what I mean? That's kind of a tangent conversation. We'll talk about that.
He really got on David O. Russell's radar for a bit, didn't he? He's just like, all right, I did my Nolan time. Now I'm with O. Russell for like all the movies.
Great trade in Christian. Sorry. Fuck that idea.
Top
next
5.
One. Here we go.
Top 5. All right. Well, I don't think I'm shooting for the stars with this one. It's
or aiming for the fences. Oh, nice. Nice. Sorry, I stepped on your thing there. My bad.
Yeah. It wasn't a good thing. It was a bad thing. But yes, Interstellar. This is a movie that, every time I watch it, I'm in awe of it.
Or
There are some like major parts that I struggle with.
tell me which part?
Well, like in the final act of the movie, a lot of
Yeah.
what's happening on Earth really bothers me. Just like for Jessica Chastain and
Topher Grace. Topher Grace in the third act ruins that movie.
Oh man, and a bit of Casey Affleck, just like that whole arrangement going on.
Oh.
It's just like it's building up, but every time we go back there, I feel the story stops.
Okay.
And I'm more engaged with what's going on with Matthew McConaughey, and I think that's obviously how it's supposed to be, but some elements just don't come together. However, everything else, it's just like, it's one of those just astounding movies that, I mean, it's thoroughly entertaining. Like I said, it's awe-inspiring. Watching it on a big screen is fantastic. It's got one of, if not the best, Nolan score from Hans Zimmer.
Oh, it's terrific.
I've got it on vinyl. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, we should rank
it.
Those. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, next ranking. But yeah, no, it makes you appreciate and just wish that more people would, try the more practical approach to doing their effects, like visual effects. Like, I love all the space sequences, everything, like the No Time for Caution sequence. So brilliant.
It's so good.
The detach sequence, where he's throwing himself into the black hole, Gargantua or whatever, that the music in that and everything building up to it is just so incredible. And I know you talk shit about it, Miguel, but I think Anne Hathaway's great in that movie.
I like Anne Hathaway and I like her character. My one issue is that one bit of the movie where she's like, love is the only thing that can transcend space and time. And I was like, sometimes Nolan has lines of dialogue that feel very like,
are you a human?
This is just in service of, I guess, maybe the theme or something, but it's like even the best actor is not doing it justice because it's just such a clunky line. There's also that line in The Dark Knight when he's like, Harvey Dent was the last legitimate ray of light or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like the couple lines in that movie too. You're like, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And that dialogue is not great, you know? Right.
He has very like robotic dialogue sometimes. It doesn't feel very human. You know, he has a lot of cool concepts, but sometimes doesn't feel very human.
Yeah, sometimes he needs like Phoebe Waller-Bridge to help tighten up the script a little bit or something like that.
Okay.
Not that he would ever.
I like that.
No, he would probably be like, this podcast is terrible.
No, this is too much humor. It's not realistic. Anyway,
like he never smiles.
Unless he's in Hot Ones, right? All right, so yeah, my number 5, Interstellar.
My number 5, I'm also going with an I movie, Inception. Yeah. Brought that one together, you guys.
You did.
Happy birthday, me. Happy birthday, me. Inception. That's definitely, it feels a little dated now when you watch it. And but that was like the one that really like I feel like woke mainstream audiences up to Christopher Nolan's like beyond Batman kind of, what he can do. And I think it's a great cast. I think it's a great story. Like I said, all of these movies, if they're on TV or I'm scrolling by, like I would watch this movie. And will continue to many more times. I've got a few others that I like a little bit more than it.
There you go. So keeping it with the I themed here, if you put this movie on before, you want to watch Memento or do you want to watch this? Yes, I would want to watch. It's Interstellar.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, bringing it back.
Yeah. That's the Nolan timeline.
Yes. No, Interstellar. I think we've talked about it, but Interstellar.
Man,
that'd be my number.
Bitch, we're going to syncing up with some of you bitches.
We're going to talk about it some more. Okay.
You know what? You know what was funny when I rewatched that movie? Like just a fun thing when she's spending all of this time back upstairs in her bedroom, and Topher Grace's like, "We got to get out of here" for like 20 minutes. And she's just like,
it's the worst part.
Just staring and staring. I'm like, "Please leave." And so, but she finally gets to watch. she goes, and what's his name is pissed. Casey Affleck. I mean, he is beyond
He burned
pissed.
my corn. Yeah.
He's looking at her like he's about to beat her, and then she comes out with a watch. He's like, I figured it out. In my mind, what that character would do would just be like, I don't give a fuck what you just figured out. You burned my corn, and
That's
you would
true.
Like, beat her. You know what I'm saying?
None
like
of that matters.
None of that
It's
matters to
the
him. It'd be like,
real world effect.
Honestly, I don't give a fuck about this watch that you're holding right now. Like, what does this have to do with anything? And then they just cut away from that moment.
It feels so crammed in. It's just like she has to have that like literal eureka moment. One thing I wanted, Miguel, I brought this up to you when I rewatched that movie recently, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it, Luis, since you watched it recently too. So the beginning of the movie opens to Matthew McConaughey in a plane,
spaceship or whatever.
Yeah, and he's got like a TARS unit that's whatever. They're going down. Well, that's the impression you get. And then at the end, you see Matthew McConaughey about to leave that space station to go find Dr.
Brand.
Thank you, Miguel. And
I've seen this movie
so
recently.
I'm wondering. So my question was: do you think that is the opening scene, or is that just like a separate incident where Matthew McConaughey lost his faith in robots?
Just to clarify, they open with it and they play it off like he's having a dream, like a nightmare of a past event. And Ed is postulating that this is actually a foreshadowing event of something that hasn't happened yet.
When he goes looking for Bran.
When he goes looking, I would probably say the latter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. When Ed mentioned that for the first time a while back, I was like, I never thought about that before. And on rewatch, I was like, I could see where you get that, and being a Nolan movie, that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah,
that like we're seeing him like landing on the planet where Bran is,
which
it's like where the top spins, but they put it at the very beginning of the movie.
I mean, you are basically
there is that scene where we catch up with Bran on her planet.
Yes.
And obviously
Don't say it.
What?
Are you about to say...
Do you think she was burying Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey? No, I don't.
I don't.
Okay. You think that was
but I could
boyfriend?
see... But I could, 100%. Like, and that's kind of like the thing, right? Like, she was going there because she loved him and wanted to find him again. Yeah. But when she gets there, he's dead. That's how I interpreted that. But I see what you're getting at, Ed. That the end of the movie is that he crashed, and she was like, "Well, I've buried the two men that meant the most to me, and I'm just gonna carry on."
Yeah, come over here, Taz. Let's fucky wucky.
Okay, what is with you tonight? All right.
It's your birthday. I'm excited. I've just had 2 Vespers. I'm good. So number 4 is
4. Yeah.
All right. So we were talking about the letter I. But I wanna throw one at you called the letter O. It's Oppenheimer.
Okay.
My number 4. Granted, this is like new, this is fresh on the mind. The second time I saw it, like I said, it kind of reaffirmed my initial feelings on it. I thought the 17mm showing was better than the IMAX showing that I saw, but I enjoyed it. You didn't even like it, Luis. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the IMAX looked really beautiful. I don't know.
The IMAX, it was good. Just had some things tarnish it, I guess, a little bit. But the overall impact was still there, and I was very much engaged with it. I think it's going to go a long way this year for Christopher Nolan. Especially if these strikes start pushing back other big movies that are coming out this year or due to. Like, this might be Christopher Nolan's year, But I just really enjoyed it as a story, as a, as a historical epic, if you will. It's just really, it has stuck with me since seeing it in theaters, and I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop. and I can't wait for it to like come out on streaming so you can start seeing more of the in-depth behind the scenes stuff and what went into making it. And I'm gonna leave it right there before Louise falls asleep. She looks like he might be doing.
This is my face when I was watching it. I was just like,
man,
this better not be any. This Oppenheimer better be at this level, Miguel. If it's any higher, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
That's a threat.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Luis. My number 4 movie, The Prestige. Oh, yeah, you got a backwards cap, you motherfucker. Welcome to the show, bitch. All right.
Sorry, tell us again, Luis, where you put Oppenheimer? Yeah, fuck yourself.
How is it? It's okay. I can't believe it's going to be higher for you. This movie. I mean, you know what? Can we?
I debated having it higher.
That number 1 spot's still open, baby. So let's find out.
That. I mean, if it's number 1, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do if it's number 1. I feel like I don't.
All right, Miguel, we'll fill us in.
So number 4 for me is The Prestige. I did this was a really quick and dirty ranking, but there's a handful of other movies that I just really think are my favorites, my absolute favorites. But The Prestige is the one that I feel like is one of his best. You know what I mean? And the cast, the story, the twist. You know, it's like almost a flawless execution of like I feel like what Christopher Nolan movies are. You know?
Yeah.
And I just have for me, a personal taste. I have a handful of others ahead of it, but it's one of my absolute favorites. Again, I'll watch it all the time. I think I own 2 DVD copies of this movie. You know what I mean? Somehow.
Yeah.
So
that's how I watched it.
It's a great movie. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Luis, number 4. Don't disappoint.
Don't disappoint. What do you mean, don't disappoint? My number 4.
Like if I was thinking about what I would want to watch before
Batman Begins. My number 4 is Batman Begins. I'm a Batman fuckboy, and yes, it's going to be this high up on my list. It's a great. I just have a good time. Okay, moving on. Number 3. Let's go.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad about that.
All right. Well, staying in theme here, it's The Dark Knight for me. Number 3.
Wow.
Rewatching it again, it's one of those movies that I feel like we all watched so many fucking times.
Yeah.
That you're going to start being like, well, that's a flaw, that's a misstep, or whatever. So, but to what you were saying, Miguel, I think by the time this movie really kicks off into its second act, going into the third act, it's just like from there on, it's just like a great fucking ride. Like, I think the worst of it is at the beginning, but like, and I'm saying worse, like it's not
like after
it's still good, but it's just like going through the motions, like catching you up on the story, etc.
Yeah.
But like the big stuff, the meaty stuff, just as soon as it starts getting into more Joker territory and his effects on the city,
I see that kind of blows my mind. Sorry, I'm kind of talking over you, but you just mentioned the opening, and it's like, well, the opening scene of that movie is probably like one of the top 3 scenes of that entire movie. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean,
you're talking about like that right after that lull where it's like exposition,
exactly.
Where I think Luis was talking about how in Batman Begins the look of that suit is really good, but I think this is where it starts to show its flaws. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's in the light. It's in the daylight.
It looks. Yeah, it looks. You're like
the settings. Like Gotham isn't as visual effects.
Oh, buddy, this was as far as Gotham looks. This was the downhill slope for me. I mean, I think probably the best, Christopher Nolan Batman movie. But like setting wise, it was just like, oh, it's okay, and then it just got so much worse after that.
Right. But with that said, everything like occurring within, that's still great. For all the reasons that we already know, I'm not gonna go on a rant about it. But yeah, it's just one of those monumental moments that the 3 of us lived during.
Absolutely.
It was just like a life-changing event. One of the best, to this day, one of the best theatrical events that I've been to. and I didn't do anything special. We just went to that Thursday late night showing, and it was fucking magical. It was great. Yeah, so, and it holds up. It's endlessly entertaining. That's all I got to say about that.
My number 3.
Can you imagine if Christopher Nolan directed Forrest Gump?
No, stop.
It starts with the feather floating.
It's like that meme of Christopher Nolan, of Cillian Murphy holding his head like this in Oppenheimer. But that's like Forrest Gump thinking about every life event he's ever been through.
Yeah.
He's like, the Vietnam War. All right.
Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates.
She's dead now. My number 3, Luis, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Oppenheimer. Okay.
It was only one. It was just one.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay.
But also, no apologies, Miguel.
I don't apologize. No, I don't. I loved this I was one of a couple of moments just really,
what were those moments?
Shook me to my core. I'll tell you right now. Luis, chill out just a little bit, okay? Just like catch your breath, all right? So the scene where they're talking about where to drop the atomic bomb, like later in the movie, and the guy goes, "Oh, but not here because my wife and I honeymoon there."
Right.
I like audibly gasped when he said that line because it was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like, these are like people's lives," and he was just like, "Oh, well, no, I like to vacation there." And I felt
my
like
whole audience
the audience felt that too.
A line that was improvised. That was not even
later finding
a
out.
Nolan thing.
And it was like, dude, first off, imagine improvising in a Christopher Nolan movie. You know what I mean? Like, and then this is the movie. I bet he was like, well, Robert Downey Jr. is fucking doing it in every scene. I could do one line, and it could be like one of the most impactful lines of the entire movie, to me at least. But no, I just really, really, really enjoyed just the structure of it. I thought the characters were engaging. I bought into the hype. I thought it was great. I felt like
important.
Yeah, every scene.
Not to sound like preachy, but like it felt like a heavy subject matter, and I feel like that lingered after the fact. It's one of those kind of sobering movies.
Stop thinking about this movie after it came out. I was very excited. I wanted to go see it again like the very next night. Number 3, Luis.
Let's hear it.
All right, number 3
Insomnia.
for me. I already said Insomnia. Number 3 is going to be Inception. Inception is my number 3.
Yeah.
Wait, did you already have Inception on your list? Did you already say Inception?
Ed hasn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, this was the moment when we saw all of his movies. We had The Presitge before, he had Memento. These are smaller movies. He did Batman Begins, which was a big blockbuster. And then he stepped it up with Inception. We had these huge set pieces when he's in the dream world and things are exploding on the side. We have him talking about the sets, just pivoting on on a gimbal, and people were going crazy about that. I think all the effects he was using. And, we keep saying, oh, Christopher Nolan, he's been using all these practical effects. But, I think he pulled off some cool VFX shots in this movie, too, that a lot of people try to replicate. That Paris scene where things are exploding left and right. I would have loved to seen some effects in Oppenheimer instead of just up close shots of an explosion. But we didn't get that. So Inception was great. Cool. Next one, number 2.
So that means for Ed, it's got to be either The Prestige or Inception, right, Ed? Those are your top 2s.
Well, if your calculations are correct, Miguel, yeah.
So now I'm trying to guess. Like, all right,
which is it?
I think I know what your 2 and 1 are.
Okay. What do you want to say? My number 2?
Can I guess? Yeah, I think your number 2 is Inception.
Wah. No.
All right.
It's The Prestige. Number 2. What?
It's a great movie. It's
a great movie. No, sorry.
One of his best. Absolutely.
No, rewatching it the other night, I was just like, man, it really is one of his more like actually flawless films to me, anyway. But without all the the show and the pomp and circum, whatever. It's before he like had Zimmer like drowning out the dialogue. You have you got David Bowie in a role,
David and Andy Serkis
and
paired
Andy
together.
Serkis. Yeah. But just tonally, it's like a lot of fun. I rewatched the trailer before tonight's episode too, and they set that up as a real like I don't know, kind of like sci-fi thriller, and it kind of is, but like in a very like
A more subdued way.
yeah, more subdued Christopher Nolan kind of way. But it's funny how they marketed it.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's just like the way it plays out is it's just so delicious. I love it.
That line where he's like, you know, she's like, "Do you love me?" And he's like, "Not today." You know what I mean?
And that's the thing is like once you know you're playing this game throughout the rest of the movie, thinking like, is this Freddy or is this Alfred? And then you know just tying all the you know the strands and Hugh Jackman's characters past. Just like his parents didn't want him to embarrass them in his endeavors as a magician. That's why he changed his name to whatever. But
The Great Danton.
It was the Great Danton, but before that, it was like he's like Lord Caldro or something, which is what he always has been. But he picked up a name and an accent to be a magician, you know, so he wasn't like ruining the family estate or whatever. But yeah, all that to say is like it's totally gripping. Again, not too showy. It's like still grounded Nolan, and I do, you know, it would be cool if he kind of went back to smaller scale stuff like this every now and again, and just having like actors, you know, playing off of one another. Like Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale in this movie are great. Michael Caine is great in it too.
Oh, he's so good. This is a really solid. It was lower on my list, but only by a little bit. But that is a really solid number 2 choice. That was
I love
one of
Prestige.
his absolute best.
Just one of those that keeps on delivering. All right, Luis, Miguel, number 2.
Oh, sorry. Can I hop in real quick with my number 2? It's The Dark Knight, babies. I love this movie. I rewatched it recently, again, for the first time in many years, and I forgot like how great this movie is. I'm not going to overtalk it, but there was like a lot of really great moments. So when I think of The Dark Knight, I think about like basically the first 2/3 of the movie. And I kind of like remember, like he becomes Harvey Dent at the end, and there's like that little scene, and then the movie ends. But like that whole third act is also really good, where he like confronts the Joker in that like construction site.
Yeah,
the sonar. Okay, talk about clunky dialogue. You know what I mean? And that the voice he's doing makes it really difficult in a lot of these scenes. But you know that whole bit about the doctors or the bad guys and the terrorists or the hostages, like that reveal, him fighting the SWAT team, but also being kind of like careful with them to not, you know what I mean? And then he kicks. Okay. Also, the helicopter spotlight when he's like raising his hands. That is a clean shot, dude. His talk about suits looking really good in each of these movies. Like that suit looked so good in this movie.
And it was like one of the first like just logical suit upgrades.
Yeah.
You know, you like every superhero movie has a suit upgrade, and sometimes it's justified, but only slightly. But this one, like, it was an upgrade, but also it's like, well, you know, it's going to have a harder time stopping bullets or knives. And
so it plays into the story because
guess who likes to use knives? Fucking the Joker.
But he also gets shot later in the movie too, and it's the moment he gets shot is also very impactful.
He gets shot, stabbed, and attacked by dogs. Repeatedly in this movie.
I think one of the criticisms about this movie is that, well, the Harvey Dent thing was just really tacked on, and maybe we didn't need it for this movie. No. Total disagree. I thought it was phenomenal that was how we ended the movie.
In the hole. It was,
and I'll tell you this, Ed, you tell a story about shortly after your daughter was born, you watched Children of Men, and you like cried at one point. And I remember my son hadn't been born yet. And I remember thinking, okay, Ed's a little emotional because he's got a kid now. But I rewatched The Dark Knight, and when Harvey Dent is holding the gun to the boy, and he's like, "Lie to your son and tell him everything's going to be okay." Y'all, I legit cried when that happened. I was like, "Oh fuck, dude!" Like, and
Gary Oldman's performance in that too was like phenomenal.
so good, so good.
Best Gordon.
And, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like he nailed that role, and I think this was the best showing of everyone in the cast was in this movie.
And then it builds to that climactic ending too.
Yeah, of where he says the phrase "the Dark Knight," and then it cuts to credits too. Like that shot of him on the bike zooming away is so good. The Dark Knight Rises can suck my left and right nuts. What a shithole movie to follow up with.
That doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist in my mind. I never will rewatch it. It never happened.
The first two are
never
so
happened.
good.
Yeah.
So good. So my number 2 is The Dark Knight. Oh, the one scene that I wanted to talk about that I remember so the Joker, obviously, Heath Ledger, phenomenal. Every scene he was in, captivated. Couldn't stop watching. I remember in the theaters, they showed in the trailer this entire time, like he's going to get this motorcycle, and they do the whole scene with the the Batmobile chasing through the tunnels and everything, and then it crashes, and then all of a sudden that one wheel starts spinning.
Yeah,
and I remember freaking out when that happened. I was like, no fucking way. This is how he gets it. And on rewatch, like when he pops out, it is a little silly. And there's a couple of bad CGI moments on the bike, but just
when he's going up the wall.
Oh, bud. Oh, bud.
That's the thing is like you pick these things apart, but overall you just gotta you get so sucked in. It's so great because that 18-wheeler flipping. I mean, if you compare it to, again, you'd compare it to other superhero movies, it's like big explosions, CGI. Mm-hmm. No, he just took a fucking 18-wheeler and he flipped it.
Flipped that bitch.
He flipped that bitch. He missed! And then, boom! So great. So good. And that wasn't even the climax of the film. Like, so I feel like a lot of people thought that was like, oh, that's the big face-up. And then you follow that with that interrogation scene, which...
And then the hospital scene
it rocks you to your core, that moment. Woo! Yeah.
Oh, the hospital scene too. Wow.
Just so good, so good.
So that's my number 2. I don't feel bad. I don't apologize for any of these. That's my number 2.
Actually, it's my number 2. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm gonna switch it. No. Luis, all right. What's your number 2?
All right, my number 2.
I think you and I are on the same page here.
He said Inception already.
I did say Inception, but those three are really. I do love Inception. I do love Inception. But this movie is just pretty perfect. And I had to put it up there. Is going to be The Prestige, number 2.
Yes. Nice.
I think it's a solid movie. I think it's a tight movie. I think it's just really well done.
Rewatch value.
Come on, Luis.
Rewatch, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. We talked about it. It's a great movie.
But I want to hear your thoughts about it.
I'm really tired, y'all.
All right. Number 1.
No, yeah, number 1.
Ed.
Well, it's actually Insomnia. No, just kidding. Yes, it's Inception. It was.
It's a solid choice.
So here's the thing: this is the one that I really wanted to watch before we did the ranking. I didn't get around to it, and of course, in typical fashion, it wasn't anywhere to stream. So but it has been at the top of my Nolan list since it came out. I just love it so much, and I know that every time I do watch it, I'm just like utterly gripped by it. I think it hits on all those notes. You've got the star power with Leo DiCaprio, but like the cast surrounding him too. Like we've mentioned already, this was like his first big budget breakout post The Dark Knight, and he really just kind of like declared himself as a director that you forever wanted to follow. Just like he was an event director, and this is what he could do, and it was fucking fantastic. Like you guys remember those like trailers and stuff coming up, and you just like nobody had any idea what that movie was going to be about before it came out, other than it maybe dealt with dreams. But it was just mind-blowing. It was just fun. It was like all the things that make you think, like, yeah, Christopher Nolan should do a James Bond movie. Or, you know, just things like that. It's just, yeah. And so many great iconic moments, like the hallway sequence, the ending,
the quadruple kick that
yeah, oh my god, so good. The opening, even with the water flooding into the building, so good. And then some people's like introduction to Tom Hardy. Yeah. So yeah, no, I just loved it, and it was actually a good meaty role for Cillian Murphy too in that one.
Yeah,
post The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. So yeah, no, enjoyed it, loved it, and the ending too. It'll still get you. It'll get you every time.
I love in that movie where at the beginning he's destined to fail. Like they're already at a losing position. You know what I mean? Like what's her name? Yeah, the what's her name keeps popping up, and literally like the first thing they do when they get there, it's already fucked. It's like raining and whatever. It's like, okay, fine, we'll push through. And then everyone starts attacking him immediately. He gets shot up. It's just like a failed mission from the get-go, and it's just cool to see how that kind of continues to play out. No, Inception's like, all of these three are very interchangeable for me. It's an awesome. It's just like a mood. It's like, do you want sweet?
Yeah.
Do you want savory? Or do you want, salty?
A bit of both.
Spicy, exactly. These are my sweets, savory, and spicy choices. So, Inception, Prestige, and then you'll find out my number one, which you already kind of figured out.
All right, Miguel, what is it?
You guys, you nailed it, Ed. Good job. Okay, and I don't apologize for this. Okay. My number one movie is Interstellar. I love that movie, and I know I complain about a couple things in that movie. They don't matter in the end for me, though. I absolutely love it. I mean, I kind of watch it back to back. Like when I get in my moods to watch it, like I'll watch it and then I'll wait a few days, then I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
It's got so many great, just like moment to moment. Like I'm edge of my seat still. Matthew McConaughey is kind of perfect for this role, this one specific role for a Nolan movie.
Never to be seen again.
No, I'd love for him to come back. But I mean, just absolutely loved the dynamic between him and Murph. And I know like her scene later is a little like touch and go, and maybe you can kind of complain about it, but I think Jessica Chastain, I've never seen a bad Jessica Chastain role.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean sometimes about a Nolan script is like even your best actor is having like a clunky line or two because it's a little bit of the dialogue. I like because she talked about how she changed some of the lines, like just some of the inflections slightly. Like the first time she pops on screen and you realize Murph has aged, she was like, you know, hey dad, you son of a bitch or whatever. And it was like very articulate, like son of a bitch in the script, and she scratched through it and like rewrote it to sound a little more natural. And I was like, okay, I can appreciate that, you know. Not too many people are going to take a pen to Nolan's script, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And she knew like what would work a little bit better for her. No, I love Jessica Chastain. The worst part of that movie, I know that one line really gets me, that Anne Hathaway line, but really in reality, the worst part of that movie is Topher Grace. What the fuck is he doing in this movie? That line where he's like, get in the car, or whatever. It's like, stop shouting, okay?
Nobody believes you.
No one is intimidated by you.
When she like comes downstairs or whatever, and he's been like testing the kid or whatever, he's like, we need to get out of here right now. And I was just like, fuck you. Get out of this movie now. You were very passionately against Harry Styles in Dunkirk, but I would argue that the real worst casting is Topher Grace. Like, easily. I mean, I dislike them equally.
Fair enough. Not mad about that. But yeah, we already talked about it. Lots of really great moments. This is a movie that I will watch. The No Time for Caution scene is so good. I love that moment.
What about that turn with Matt? What's it called?
Matt Damon. when he pops out for the first time.
Yeah, pops out, and then he turns on what's his name?
That was very
also
believable twist.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a little on the nose. His name is Dr. Man, and he's the best of us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's kind of
they call him Remarkable. Yeah, it's like and the remarkable Dr. Man, but we won't say why he's remarkable.
Yeah, no, I loved, and I thought that, but also I think that he's a very believable. I'm blanking on the word, but it's a very believable character. You know what I mean? Like that would be his motivation. You know what I mean?
Totally.
To be the bad guy. Like he's not here to be like this like mustache twirling villain. He's a person who is at his absolute bottom.
Yeah.
And he comes in at just the right time, right when you realize Matthew McConaughey was wrong. Like we shouldn't have come to this planet.
Yeah.
And Anne Hathaway was right all along, and he was right to kind of tell her like, no, you're letting your heart get in the way. But ultimately, it was the right call. Love transcends space and time, baby.
This is the thing about Nolan, and like all of his movies have this theme through it, but it's just this idea of like, I'm presenting you with facts, but doesn't mean it's true. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's kind of his whole thing the whole time. It's like Memento, Inception, everything is just like, this is supposed to be true. These are the facts, but it's true. Or this is true, but it's not really the facts. Like it's just perspective and how people see it. And everything of that is very disorienting. Mm-hmm. And a lot of his movies feels disorienting. A lot of his movies try to question what is reality, what is truth. And I think, what's it called? That's a fantastic example of it, Miguel, where he's just like, this is the right way to go, but it was the wrong way to go. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
exactly. That's
Everybody's wrong at some point in this movie. Like Michael Caine fails, Murph was wrong. She another lie. He's like, exactly. Yeah. Interesting. You didn't think about
everything is a lie or a truth or like a semi-truth in how things are presented.
It's like asking Tars, like, what's your honesty percent at? Yeah.
I
love that. Okay, cool. What a little
anyway, when you rewatch it, look at it through that lens of just like
Luis, your number one?
Yeah, you know what my number one is now, baby. It's The Dark Knight. Listen, I rewatched the movie tons of time. I watched it like 7 times in theaters, and then I gave it a break because I think we all watched it a ton of times.
Too much, yeah.
Too much. She was like, okay, we need a little breather. And I thought I could go into this ranking, just ranking it as wherever I pleased. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it again. And thank God I did, because having that time and space made me appreciate this movie even more. And yes, I love Batman, so that's why it is higher on the list.
You go back to it thinking you're going to doubt it, right?
Yeah,
you're gonna think, like,
no, but
no way is it going to hold up
or be as good as I remember.
Exactly,
or as they say.
But it does. It sweeps you up.
It perfectly sets the thesis and then plays it out completely. Do you know what I mean? About people being pushed to the limit and how chaos reigns and nothing else matters. And the reason why this is better than Batman Begins is because he has a really good antagonist that pushes him to the right, to the best place possible. And I think, we were saying, oh, Batman, we haven't seen him as a detective. You know what? After seeing The Dark Knight, that was detective enough. I think he did a great job in this movie, and I just think it's a tight fucking movie. It sets the thesis. It does a really good job of pushing everybody. And I don't know. I absolutely just love this movie. And
that's it.
The Dark Knight Rises sucks monkey dick.
My number one is The Dark Knight, and the worst one is The Dark Knight Rises. So it's just funny how. Anyway, I'm tired. I could go more into it, but like
we've overtalked Dark Knight Rises. But I do want to point out that while the movie is terrible, I actually really like Tom Hardy in it. I think his Bane is great. I think Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is pretty fun too. I just think the movie as a whole terrible. The worst part about Dark Knight Rises is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, no offense to him, being like, I figured out you were Batman because you were sad.
I'm trying to forget about that
orphan
movie.
Looks like or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
shitty ass movie. Christopher Nolan.
To his credit, I was just thinking that I think he is a really good part of Inception. Like,
oh, for sure.
He has great chemistry with Tom Hardy, but he also has great chemistry with Elliot Page, and Leo DiCaprio. He's just like that nice, sweet middleman who kind of bounces off of everyone. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to Joseph.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the Dark Knight. Sorry, another thought coming up.
Sorry, yeah.
No, I think what's really tough about it is that again, that last third act. I think it makes sense to have obviously Two-Face show up, and makes thematically sense. But then, God, his voice just graveling through makes it very difficult for me to swallow that pill. The only reason why I'm allowed to swallow is because everything else is sailing great. Mm-hmm. But man, like, I put that on Nolan a little bit. Like, as a director, you kind of needed.
You should have been like, pull that back to the first one. You know,
yeah.
It sounded so. It made sense in the first movie that you're doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's find that balance again.
Yeah, it just pulled you. I mean, you may have your reason, but just like sonically speaking, it just pulls you out of it a little bit. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, well, I can't really. But yeah, listen. This is the Nolan ranking. We wait till we get another Nolan movie. It's sure, it's official. So yes, that was our Nolan ranking. We'll put it out there on our socials. Please debate us and tell us that we're wrong. We love that. We love the engagement. And boys, I think we did it. I think we did an episode.
That's an episode 67.
It's a hot ass episode. I'll tell you what. And listen, follow us. We've been getting a lot of follows on Punch Drunk Nerd. We got to put more original content, and we know this, okay? But we are busy people. Be patient with us. Hit us up. I don't know what else to say except it's been me, Luis Gonzalez. And
happy birthday to Miguel.
Thank you, boys.
Yes. Happy birthday. Please bombard him and with birthday wishes. Miguel, hit us with your social.
It's at Miguel M. Sanchez with 2 Z's, babies.
There we go.
Wish this man a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Send him a laptop. Send him that Rivendell Lego set. I dare.
Wait, whose birthday is it?
Yeah.
Send him those things so he can send them my way.
So just like ship it right on it back out. But no, Miguel, you are a party guy. You are the life of this party. You are a cherished member of our trio. So happy birthday, man. I hope it's 33 this year, right?
We don't say. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. 33.
We don't say numbers.
I don't know. I didn't know if you wanted it to be out of the universe.
Luis is the youngest of us all at 18.
Barely old enough to go see those R-rated movies.
I know. I sneak in every single time.
You little boy.
But yeah, happy birthday, man. I hope it's a good one.
I have a lot of fun getting together with you guys every week. I love you guys.
Happy birthday, Miguel. And remember, cousin, you are Knuff. Ken enough. You are Ken enough. Ken enough?
You're Knuff. You're a Knuff.
Is that how they say it?
Knuff. It's Knuff. That's how I would have said it.
All right. You're Knuff.
Emphasis on the Ken.
You're Ken Knuff. Oh, there you go. You're Ken Knuff.
Okay, if we haven't lost them already, we've lost them now.
Did I tell you guys I'm getting that sweater?
Do it. We should all get it, to be honest.
Oh, no, it's already coming in the mail.
Is that going to be... Can we just wear that to your wedding instead?
Yeah, sure.
That'd just be so
okay.
simple.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Ed Bull.